We're now live.
Thank you. Hey, I'd like to call the meeting to order. All those present, if you could please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Right. Looking for approval of the agenda.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Can you verify who did this, please?
Yes.
Commissioner Enzi,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. Any upcoming commissioner absences? Any communications? Any communications? Okay. I'm looking for an approval of the minutes of our October 24th meeting.
So moved. Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Enzi,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. Brings us to vouchers.
Move that we approve accounts payable vouchers 200-218 through 200-337, grand total $468,816.61 is outlined in the agenda.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Enzi,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes.
Do it again.
We weren't, but we said
Welcome.
yes.
All right, call this meeting order. Also start with number 2, I don't know.
Yeah. Can we just state what happened?
Yeah, just for the record, the meeting owl was accidentally muted, so we will go back to approval of the agenda item number 2. And do it again.
All right. It's good practice. All right, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Enzi,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson.
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey.
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. There was no commissioner absences, no communications. Motion to approve the minutes of October 24th.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Enzi,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. Vouchers.
I move that we approve accounts payable vouchers 200-218 through 200-337, grand total $460,816.61 is outlined in the agenda.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Commissioner Enzi,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. That brings us to local 3390. I don't see a representative. Anything that you're aware of, Chief?
No.
Okay. That gets us to chief's reports.
Well, we got lots to report on. I'll turn it over to Jason or Chief Black here in a second, but obviously we had Saturday night with the windstorm, a tree fell onto the roof, breaking a 2-inch water pipe and flooded the building. And we got a call early in the morning. So, I'm gonna turn it over to Chief Black to give the rest of the report.
Sounds good. Well, I'll just give a little bit of a report, and then for anyone that would love to have a tour, would like to have a tour afterwards, that would might bring some clarity and understanding of where we're at. So yes, as Chief Jones said, a large fir tree fell on the building, striking the roof, penetrating through the roof, breaking the 2-inch sprinkler line, and flowing a significant amount of water. A literal fire hose inside our building broke until an automatic fire alarm was activated, and the crews came over and recognized what was going on. Much to their shock, they was able to get the water turned off, the power turned off, all the utilities turned off for normal protocol. And then we did a great job. The chief on duty was notified, Commissioner Nelson came out, and so we just started water cleanup, removing a lot of water out of the building. And then just starting to go through the water mitigation process. We contacted ServPro, which is a local company for us that we've worked with before on other floodings that we've had at other stations. They've been wonderful to work with. They've done an outstanding job. They're very professional, very good at what they do. We've made contact with our insurance company. They are aware and very happy with the efforts that we have done. And as Chief Wilsey said, there were some things that were done as an emergent type of a need, which hiring ServPro would be one of those. And once we are past the emergency at this point, so we will fall back into normal protocol with things moving forward and the spending of money. And it's interesting because we follow that protocol because the insurance company gives us the money and it's our responsibility to put our building back together. So, which I'm appreciative of because it gives us more control rather than an insurance company in New York trying to tell a general contractor what he should and shouldn't do. So grateful for that. So we're working through water mitigation. It actually looks pretty darn good, Bryce, wouldn't you say, in comparison to Saturday?
A lot better to say than
Yes, yes. So again, they've done a great job checking everything, going back, checking all our services, getting those back online, getting rid of the water. Well, now it's a process of figuring out where is the water and what has the water damage to come up with a comprehensive plan to then get rid of that moisture and then put the building back together. And so water mitigation is happening now. Document preservation is also happening right now. Our states are fireproof. They are not waterproof. So a lot of our documents have been touched by the water. So working through all of that, again, really happy with the company that we have, the progress that we're making. The staff has been fantastic. Everyone is being very flexible. We've all lived through remodels and it doesn't take about a couple of days and they become whole. So, but progressing in a really great way. So stand for any questions. Again, that's just a quick overview. And anybody that would like to take a tour afterwards, we stand ready for that as well.
So as of now, command staff has kind of been in this room. We've kind of made a decision to move 2 rooms down. We're moving into this side of the building. We're looking for, that's just short term. We're looking for a building for us to all move in. There's 21 people in this building, so trying to find, do we all 21 go somewhere else? This could take us a while. So we think being here, power's gone out, there's noise. It's really hard for us to work here. So we're looking at other buildings to move into yet.
So back to what you said about the insurance company paying us the money. And then, we're responsible. Have they already come out and made a decision on what the loss is?
Thank you. Yes. So we have had an insurance adjuster out on site and I walked the property with him. And so he is starting to put together that scope and we're already expecting a check from the insurance company to help with the water mitigation costs for that as well.
Because we have to move and go to another office, I would think that should become part of the insurance too, wouldn't it?
Yeah, correct.
That's what I was wondering about if they're just taking it in steps as we're doing things and what they're gonna pay out of their
Yes, you are correct. Our binder, our insurance does have coverage for us to move to a different facility in case of accidents or emergencies like this.
So we'd like to, if we can, find something that we can just vacate the building so that they can work on it until it's complete. So we're working on that, but in the meantime, we're moving down the hall. We're going to keep this open for commissioner meetings and just kind of a meeting room for us. And then the next 2 rooms will be offices for a while we figure it out. Yeah, so that's 5-0. We'll take you around afterwards.
So
yeah, go ahead.
I was impressed by how quickly everybody pulled together on Saturday. I came out just because I'm at least at some utility lugging boxes around or whatever. There were a lot of people here really quickly. And as I was leaving at about 11 to bring Tanya her stuff, Serpro was already showing up.
Yeah.
So it was pretty quick. that they got after.
Yeah, and the damage, continues to grow. At first, I thought we'd squeegee it out, we'd get all the water out, but this might be pretty extensive. All of upstairs is, we've already cleared that, they cleared that out today.
So one question, and this is not something that needs to be answered now, like, do we know why the water flow alarm didn't go off more quickly than it did, or do we think it went off immediately and it was just such a huge volume of water coming out that it didn't take that long?
I think it was, sorry.
Sorry, just for the alarm system, reacted appropriately.
Okay,
And so that reacted. Station 58 was not in their house at the time. They were on a different alarm.
Oh.
So there was a little bit of delay as they came back, but it did activate the water flow alarm. Right, there's the normal process turnaround time of to the alarm company, from the alarm company to the dispatch center, and sending us out then and
Okay.
dispatching us after that. So that 2-inch water line at 120 PSI was, I haven't done the calculation
Okay.
yet, but that would account for the volume of water that
Okay.
we experienced.
okay.
So that's 5-0. Did you have any other
Those
updates?
reports, sir.
All right. Meyer?
Just wanted to fill you in on some training that we did on November 1st. Our training division and Pierce County DEM hosted an expanded incident training as part of our normal monthly officers training. The incident included an expanding incident. We had a wildfire scenario up above by Crescent Lake. And so which include a growing wildland fire that included evacuating houses. So Pierce County, so participating agencies that came and played with the scenario, if you will, was Tacoma Fire, West Pierce Fire, Key Peninsula, Washington DNR, Pierce County Sheriffs, Pierce County Public Works, Washington Water, the private purveyor in that area, and then also South Sound 911 here. So it was all basically our regional partners, if you will, that would respond to that type of incident in our jurisdiction. So it was some great training and we got some good feedback, and it was a good day, lack of better words. So unless there's any questions about that, that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, Chief Booth?
All right, I wanted to share with the board, we hosted a behavioral health training this past Wednesday. It was on suicide prevention, intervention, and postvention. The presenter was someone that I worked with at the county level. She's a suicide interventionist with the National Guard. It was for our in-house peer support team, but we also had agencies. We had representatives from South Pierce, and then several from Tacoma Fire came over. Feedback was excellent. It was a really good class, and we look forward to we would have looked forward to additional training opportunities here. We'll see how that goes for the foreseeable future, but it was well received, and it was a good opportunity to come together and to network and then do some learning. So I just wanted to share that with the group.
Chief Oldenburg?
One quick update for the commissioners on the lateral hiring process. I mentioned it last meeting, but we have had that open now for approximately 4 weeks. We're looking again for 7 individuals that would be interested in going through that process. We have 9 applications to this point in time that are fully qualified. We have 9 additional inquiries that are seeking some additional information, and we have 4 that have not met the minimum qualifications, and we're kind of looping back to make sure there's anything we can do to help them meet those requirements. But it's only been open 4 weeks. It's going to be open an additional 6 weeks until we close it. So we're very pleased with the initial feedback that we're getting, and it's across the United States. So there's a small number of those are from within the state of Washington, but a number of those are outside. So I just thought I'd get it.
Mostly Tacoma.
I didn't say that.
Which, congratulations on that hard-fought election. 6 more years with us. Commissioner Wilsey was reelected as a commissioner for 6 more years.
We got 99% of the vote.
You didn't door knock enough.
No, I didn't. Always root for fruit.
I and Commissioner Urbina and Nancy attended the Washington Fire Chiefs Commissioner or Fire Commissioners conference and to Layla, and I found it informative, enjoyed it quite a bit. I also had a meeting with the other taxing districts, so I called a meeting with the city, Penn Met Parks, the library district, the school district, and myself. And just to discuss levies and bonds and future plans to get on the same page so that we know what each other is doing in the future. And it was a really good meeting. We started talking about lots of ways we can cooperate and coordinate. And in fact, we've scheduled another one for to do it a couple times a quarter for all the taxing districts in this area to get together. So we'll let you know about that meeting. We are finalizing PSORT and PC HIT. So we have made the decision finally to dissolve both PSORT and PC HIT. So we're working through that process with all the other agencies, and we will have on December 18th, is that the day?
I believe it's the
Or December
13th, 12th,
Anyway.
13th.
At the end of December, we will run a resolution and Graham will run a resolution. So we're all sending letters to the lead agency that we want to withdraw. We'll confirm that, and then we will run a resolution dissolving PSORT, and Graham will run one the next night to dissolve PC HIT. We'll return all the equipment and we'll no longer have PSORT PC HIT. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't be still responding on calls and working on calls together. We just won't have one coordinated agency that we can pay into financially. We'll still be training together. We'll still have individual teams within the department. We'll still work closely with everybody and respond. We just won't have one agency taking money in and buying equipment that it just didn't work and the governance didn't work. So that will go away at the end of this year. I had a meeting with the Arts Commission about public art at Station 51. So we're working with them to help us with artists, to put some public art in the plaza and maybe on the building or inside of Station 51. So they're excited. They were quite excited that a fire chief cared about public art, and we were excited to partner with us at Station 51. This Saturday, I'm speaking at the Gig Harbor Republican meeting, and that's all I got for updates right now.
Any questions? Thank you, Chief. Any standing committee reports?
There was one. There was a meeting with negotiations committee. Want us to give the update, Commissioner? Or you? All right. I'll let Chief Holmberg kind of give you the update of what we were doing.
Great. We had a meeting with the subcommittee, and it was in regards to the lateral hiring process that we're currently in. We were looking at a number of ways to get creative as Gig Harbor, as an organization, to try to garner support for people to come into the organization as laterals. There are a number of things. It's a highly competitive market. Other jurisdictions are offering actual just cash. Here's like money, $10,000, $15,000, right, for lateral hires. So we kind of, we got a group together and we kind of started talking about some of the things that are in the collective bargaining agreement and in the organization that would potentially maybe inhibit somebody from actually wanting to apply as a lateral. And so we jotted down a number of those things and worked with the local to come to an agreement. And so we are recommending to make some small adjustments to the lateral entry pay scale, like when they come in, what level they come in at, 80% of firefighters' wage. And then they move to 90% after a year and 100% the third year. We're talking about, there was restrictions in the collective bargaining agreement to shift trades, overtime, and vacation accruals. So like they couldn't work overtime and fill a vacancy. They couldn't trade shifts. They couldn't use vacation. We're looking at narrowing those timeframes because those are always considerations for employees that are tenured in another location to come here. And then they usually go to the bottom of the ranks of all these things, and on top of it, we don't let them take any time off or do shift trades or do overtime. So we looked at a number of these things. We looked at those, and then we looked at the promotional examination timeframe as well. So it's like you're a lateral hire, you come in, you're working at another organization, and then you can't promote for a number of years. We reduced that. So those were primarily the 3 or 4 things that we talked about. We met with the local, we had labor management meetings, we met with the subcommittee, and now we have drafted some MOA language that we're all agreeable to. And so we would like to move forward with that as an organization and offer those benefits to lateral hires in this group of 7 that we're looking for. And we seem to have agreement across the board on those things.
Yep. So we wanted to work with the subcommittee and get their approval and get their input on it. So we did.
Yep.
Now, these laterals, hypothetically, the person has 10 years with and I haven't been involved in labor negotiations for quite a few years. Why do they come in at 80 or 90%? I guess what I'm asking is, why don't they just, I mean, they're experienced, they're not newbies.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just a question.
Our recommendation was that they come in at 100%, and the union recommended they come in at 80. So we're doing 80 the first year, 90 the second, and 100 the third. And I'll tell you the reason they told us, because we had a labor management meeting. They were concerned, the members were concerned with disparity between somebody who is newly hired and a lateral being on a different pay schedule. So like newly hired firefighters off the street come in at 80%. And so they articulated to us that they potentially, the membership did not want to have a disparity between the 2 groups of somebody coming in and being paid at a higher pay scale than a new hire. And our recommendation from management was that they come in at 100.
Why would someone join us at 80% if they're somewhere else at 100?
Well, our 80% might be very close to their 100. And then the next year they're gonna get 90, and the next year they'll get 100, and then all these other things. I personally think these things are the things that we are discussing here. From my perspective as a firefighter tenured in another location, these things are more enticing to me than it is money. These things are for the long haul, right? When you can promote, when you can start doing these things, when you progress in the pay scale, those pay much greater dividends over the long run. And so another thing we're going to do is have an educational meeting with everybody who's applied or put their resume in, and walk through these detailed things with them via Zoom. Like, welcome to Geek Harbor, you've applied. You may not know all the nuances of the bargaining agreement and how it applies, but if you're thinking about us versus somebody else, here's what we have to offer. Which will be new this time as well.
That sounds right.
Working conditions, workload, and there's.
Yeah.
Oh, great department, don't get me wrong, I
Yeah.
mean, I wouldn't go work.
I
for
mean,
either
one of the
one.
comments I made in the beginning meeting was like, do we really need to sell it? We're geek.
Yeah, but I hear you, yes.
I think, fair to add, like at Pierce County, it's county policy, new county employee, you can't take vacation for 6 months.
Yeah.
Right, you have to work for the county for 6 months. Well, if you're trying to recruit experienced laterals into particular places and you're telling them, hey, if you come here, you can't take a day off for 6 months. I mean, you have to find ways around that. So
Right.
what you're describing to me is sort of our version of that, and we're finding ways around it, which I think is gonna incentivize people to apply.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Because
And
you
there's
can't,
some
you,
cost savings for us too,
Right.
because there were things that they couldn't work overtime or they
They,
couldn't.
they can't fill a
They
vacancy.
can't fill vacancies.
We want them to fill
We
vacancies.
want, that's why we're hiring them.
right,
We want you to fill a vacancy to not pay overtime. So-
right.
So we needed to, some of those things are antiquated.
Yeah, and I mean, the process for laterals obviously is different than bringing in an entirely new hire, because we're sort of trusting them because they're laterals and they have experience in a way that not that we don't trust the new hires, we do, but just the experience is what we value, so. Yeah, I'm glad that we're incentivizing people. to do
Yeah.
that.
And there are restrictions around all of this, right? So
Right.
they have to be currently employed, they have to be, they'll have to complete our initial entry training, you know, there are things here, and they will be on probation for a year, right? So those things don't change, it's just the coming straight across, we want to minimize the loss because we're picking up a tenured employee, we want to.
Now, we've already met our Idaho quotient, right?
We've exceeded
Yeah,
it. We've exceeded it.
Yeah, we vetted who will get this.
Yeah.
This announcement.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes,
thank you.
thank you.
All right. I don't have anything for the chairman's report. Gets us to item 11 on the agenda. Bond update.
Bond update, so my mistake, last week, I had my weeks mixed up, so I sent you out a typed out update. I was gone last week at a conference, so not much has changed since I sent it to you. Except for the updated drawings that I got yesterday, and those got forwarded to you. So if there's any questions, I'm glad to take them. We're just working through the process of all of it, still trying to schedule some visits to stations for the committee to just continually get eyes on new stuff that's out there.
Any questions for Chief Johnson? Thank you, Chief. Old business, fire engines purchase.
Well, we're very excited to come to you tonight with the task of purchasing our fire engines from Rosenbauer Fire. So all of that is in your packet. We prepped you a little bit last meeting for all of that. So I know it's long and tedious, but we assure that we and finance and legal and everybody has gone through all that, and we're very excited to be here today. It's been a bit of a tedious process for all of us. So before we get to the ask of the approval, I also did want to share that Rosenbauer did a really great job in that when we told them that we would pay them cash and pay them upfront for that, they reduced the price of each of our fire engines by $50,000 for a total savings of $250,000 with the purchase of the 5 engines. So just continuing to be more encouraged and excited to work with them and be partners with them and have them build us 5 great fire engines. So with that, looking for board approval to purchase the 5 fire engines from Rosenbauer Fire Apparatus as outlined in the packet.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Commissioner Hensy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes.
Thank you.
Got you 200. Well done.
I said this is the last meeting, but I want to thank Chief Black and everybody involved in that process. I was pushing early on when we had the levy limits on the ballot. Let's try to be ready to go on this as quickly as we can. And I think we accomplished that, and I'm excited to see approximately 18 months from now, these here. So,
Thank you.
New business. Item A, presentation of the final 2024 budget resolution. Crystal.
Okay, so tonight we have the final version of the 2024 budget adoption. Today's agenda, we'll look at the final version of the 2024 budget. We'll review the resolutions and levy certification, if there's any open discussion or questions, and looking to move to adopt the budget and the associated levy resolutions for 2021. One key consideration for 2024's budget is we did have the voter approved levy lift of $1.50 that was approved by voters in August. Budget structure. This is very similar to 2023. The only variation for 2024 is the IT and data program has been moved under finance and admin. This is the operating budget for 2024 at 41.6 million. The percentages by division did vary slightly. We do have a couple transfers and investments in finance and admin. Same information, but split by our expense type of salary, benefits, maintenance, operations. The two that you'll notice that are different for 24 from 23 is capital at almost 2 million and our transfers to other funds at 1.6 million. Our comparison for 23 to 24, very similar to the prior iteration. We had a slight change in our transfers from our last draft. We did receive our updated interest rates for our local program, so the transfers have been slightly updated. Budget adoption, this is our net increases for 23 to 24, still remains at $6.2 million. Not a lot of changes here. $2 million of our increases from the prior year, salary and benefits. 3 million was associated to capital investments and transfers to other funds, and the remaining 1.2 million of inflation and contract increases in our operating budget. This is more for reference. This has the associated line item detail for each specific division and breaks it out by salary, benefits, maintenance and operations. And then there is a new column for 2024 just to highlight our capital and our transfers. This is where our investments in 2024 are highlighted. This is the same information, but just has the cumulative adopted budget for 2024 and a comparison of the prior year's adopted budget. Our Go Bond Fund, this is the one that actually is the only one that changed from our prior draft. We did receive our final interest rate for the local program. They completed their bond sale a couple weeks ago. We did see a small, probably $20,000 increase due to the associated interest rate. Capital Fund, no changes here. It's still at $21.1 million. Same information for the Capital Fund. This just highlighted it by specific location. Our cumulative for the budget option for 24 is $71.3 million, 41.6 for operating, 4.6 for our debt service fund, and 25.1 million for capital projects. Same information as the prior one, just on the table. That moves us to our budget timeline. We have 3 prior iterations that we've done through September and October. This is the final draft for the 14th. The budget and the associated resolutions and levy certification are due to the county by the 30th of November. There are action items for tonight. We do have the adoption of the 24 budget. This includes the 3 funds, our operating budget with our general expense fund, our bond capital fund for our capital projects are, and the associated debt service fund. And then we do have 4 resolutions that are included in your packet tonight, starting on page 79 through 87. And those are the items that we have. Before I move to discuss the resolutions, do you guys have any questions or discussion about the 24 budget?
Oh, an excellent job. You just made this process so much easier than what it has been in some years past on how you've done it. And to me, how it's brought to me to understand it much clearer. I'm not really a budget type person, but how you present it with everything makes it really clear to understand. If I can understand it, I'm pretty certain that most citizens out there should be able to get it too, so on there. So I really appreciate that.
Great. Okay, so the first resolution we have is 2023-12. This is the formal budget approval for levying taxes in 2020.
I'll move that we approve resolution 2023-12.
Second. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Ensy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Suvich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiltie,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes.
Okay, 2023-13, for levy certification and approval for the fire expense property tax.
I'll move that we approve resolution 2023-13.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Commissioner Ensy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Suvich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiltie,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes.
2023-14, this is levy certification for the EMS.
We approve resolution 2023-14.
I'll second.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Ensy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Suvich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiltie,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes.
Okay, final for the resolutions for the budget adoption, 2023-15. This is the levy certification for the bond capital, our excess levy to pay for bond issuance.
Motion to approve resolution 2023-15.
Second. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Ensy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Suvich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiltie,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes.
Okay, great. That completes the 4 associated resolutions we have for budget adoption.
Thank you, Chris. We may have already covered this.
Yeah, I just do need to let you know that by resolution, you allow the fire chief during an emergency to declare an emergency. And I did do that on Saturday morning, which exempted us from some of the procurement rules. And so I just wanted to notify you that we did do that on Saturday, and that's how we hired Servpro to get here. But I needed to let the commissioners know that I declared that. We're outside of that now, and we're following all the guidelines.
It seems obvious, but I can attest, having been here on Saturday morning, it absolutely was.
Yeah. The chief calls you at 7:40 something in the morning on Saturday morning.
He knew it wasn't a good call.
It's like, oh. Yeah. But you know what, guys, all of you, well done.
Yeah, thanks.
Well done. That's no fun. And you guys did a great job. That brings us to open public comment. I don't see anyone present here physically. Is there anyone in the online?
Nobody.
Okay. Brings us to good of the order. Seeing none, special.
Oh, stand around signups. Anybody else?
Oh, yeah.
wants to take part. I'm gonna be out with JJ. Have a good night.
Nice. Brings us to special interest, upcoming events. You'll see the one item there for the Pierce County Fire Commissioners, Fire Chiefs Annual Banquet on the 7th. Is there anything else? All right, seeing none. Go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Our next regular meeting will be held on Tuesday, November 28th at 5 p.m. Thank you all for being here.